Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. We shift gears from politics now and we get into transformative leaders. And today we are going to talk about equipping schools. And we are going to have this conversation with none other than Dr. Joel Mabonga, who is the CEO, School Equipment Production Unit. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here on this program.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, to start off, you are the CEO of the School Equipment Production Unit.
Yes.
What is the mandate of School Equipment Production Unit?
Okay. Thank you, Mike, for the invitation. And maybe before I delve into the mandate of SEPU, which stands for School Equipment Production Unit, just a brief history of what SEPU is and what we do. SEPU is an organization that has been in this country for quite a while, established in 1967, and with working alongside the Kenya Science Teachers College. We are found on Ngong Road. So for all these more than 40 years, we've been existing, and our business in this country has been to ensure that we're able to supply, design, manufacture, and distribute school equipment in the country. In 1976, the management of SEPU was made unique in that it became a state corporation. So from 1967 to up to 1976, we were operating as part of the Kenya Science Teachers College. And basically what SEPU was doing was to ensure that before teachers go to the field, they're well prepared for the practicals. And from 1976, as a body corporate or as a semi-autonomous government agency, we have continued with that mandate. And now, just to highlight our mandate, we are basically being established to be able to design, manufacture, and distribute school equipment across the country. We also do a few we have also a few other roles. We undertake research. We ensure that we also advise the government on matters relating to education and research, specifically on issues to do with the equipping of schools. So our mandate generally across the board revolves around ensuring that schools have equipment for teaching and learning so that we can have effective teaching and learning within the school. That is our mandate, to ensure that we've looked at the designs and what is it that is required to be able to be sent to schools. So Mike, that's what we do. And that's what we've been doing for the last more than 47 years or so in this country.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, there, of course, it's not an easy journey. Challenges are going to be there. So, especially when we talk about capitation, how is that impacting or affecting the availability of school equipment?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, the mode of funding within the school will definitely affect the purchasing power of the schools. But if you look at the government approach to this, particularly when you look at items like instructional material, we've had a different change of policy from one time to another. When at one time the school was the source of, for example, when it comes to learning material or the books, that they're able to be doing it or purchasing from the source. But then later on, we are aware that now we have a government approach that the government is able to ensure that is purchasing these books from publishers and be able to send to schools. So in a scenario where we have capitation, like in the past, where, for example, it happens when there are delays in capitation release, that affects schools. But when you look at what we do in relation to this capitation, we're trying to look for other avenues. We know that under the current arrangement, the NGCDF is also has a mandate of purchasing of some of the schools' equipment, and we're looking at that kind of approach so that we can be able to see, beside the National Treasury or the direct Ministry of Education release to schools, what other avenues are there. And I'd like to say that we also cut across not only public schools, we also serve private schools. And for private schools, they will do direct purchase based on their budget. So depending on the needs of the school, then they are able to go around purchasing, particularly for private schools. For public schools, they will really depend on a release of the funding. And of course, the funding normally is itemized. So they're able to work within those items and secure the necessary equipment that they may need for their schools.
Okay. Yeah. There's the aspect of textbooks. There's this aspect that there are some books that are not reaching the schools. What is your take on that? Well,
I think maybe you're referring to a case we've read about in the newspaper about maybe books not being able to get to school, a destination. It's a combination of many factors. And I know that though not directly under SEPU at the moment, I know that our sister organization, SAGA, KICD, handles that. And in terms of quality preparation of the books, that is okay. It's done so well. But I think the challenge has been at the point of distribution, because the contract are entered between the successful publishers is for them to be able to deliver the books at the doorstep of the school. So in case there are delays, in case the books are not reaching, that will be in the chain of the distribution chain on what is happening. But I think the other approaches that can be able to assist us deal with that matter, particularly we can be able to deploy technology in terms of tracking these books, that you can be able to track from source, from the publisher, until they distribute the book the book reaches the school. Okay. So it has been a combination of factors in terms of why not reach there. Yeah. But the main issue has not been at the quality, the printing, but the distribution component, which is totally in the hands of the publishers who win that. But I think if we are able to do a consent, are able to deploy technology and be able to track a book, and you can be able actually to track a book and say this book belongs to school X, it is left at the publisher on this is the route it's taking, and it has been delivered from the safety of your phone. Maybe these are the technologies that can be considered to ensure that we do not have hitches in terms of distribution of these books.
Okay. Yeah. When we are talking about school equipment, what are some of the equipment that you provide to schools?
All right. When you look at here, for any professional teacher, there are two components, what we call teaching and learning. And in most cases, we have teaching from the teacher perspective, learning from the learner perspective. Yeah. And both of them will be able to require devices or aids that can be able to ensure that the teaching and learning process is successful. So basically, for any teacher to be able to get to school, he will need, for example, he will need the design, or what we call curriculum. He will need the textbook, the reference book, himself as a teacher, and also the learner will also need the same for purpose of basically that teaching process. But if now you venture into a few other areas like the science subjects, you need, for example, for us to ensure that we've deepened our sciences within our schools, you need, for example, a laboratory. And within a laboratory, you may need a few other elements within the laboratory, and there are many. You may need a microscope, for example. You may need some chemicals to do that. So if you are to list all these, you'll be able to itemize even exercise book, textbooks, chalk itself, or any those manila papers we may use at maybe the lower levels. So all this is a combination of what we call teaching and learning resources that need to be available in schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear your views on how the Presidential Working Party on education reforms has impacted your operations.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Mike. The Presidential Working Party on education.
Just a minute. Before you continue, we'll come back to that. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.